In today's video, we're going to be talking about dealing with internal conflicts, particularly using a model known as IFS, which is called internal family systems. So the first thing we want to do when we have an internal conflict is define what the problem is, right? What is the problem situation at hand? So the example I'm going to use today is, for example, if someone's getting divorced or two people are breaking up. In a case like this, there's often many different things going on, right? A part of us really wants to stay in the marriage or in the relationship because there's a lot of value we might derive from that, right? We may have kids, there may be a lot of good reasons for us to stay together. But on the other hand, if we're considering divorce or if we're considering breaking up, some things must have gone wrong, right? Some things may have, or a lot of things may have panned out in a way that we didn't like and in a way that compromises our safety and security. And so marriage or divorce or breakup are a really good situation to kind of use as an example when we're thinking about internal conflict, right? Because a part of me wants to stay and a part of me wants to leave. Now that's a bit of an oversimplification, but that takes us to the next kind of point here, which is identifying the parts. When we have a problem where we're facing an internal conflict, what parts are at play? And this is really where we're drawing from IFS now. IFS is basically a system of thought that says that each and every one of us has lots of different parts within us. And each of those parts wants and needs different things. And so according to IFS, what happens with an internal conflict is two or more parts rather, want very different things and are pulling us in different directions, okay? So for example, if we go back to the marriage/divorce/breakup example, let's say for simplicity's sake, there's a part of us that wants to stay and a part of us that wants to leave, right? Once we've identified those parts, we want to kind of understand what they need and try to give each and every one of them a little bit of what they want, right? So for example, the part of me that wants to stay, what does that part of me want? Maybe it wants safety, maybe it wants security, maybe it wants someone I can rely on, right? Now those things, even if that part of me wants those things really badly, I might not be able to get all of those things from the relationship. Hence, we might be filing for a divorce, right? But there might be other ways in which I can give that part what it wants. So even if I can't give it the relationship, maybe I can find other ways to make it feel safe and secure. Maybe I can find other people who I can rely on. Maybe I can find other relationships that I can lean into. So even though we can't give that part the relationship, we can give it what it needs, right? The needs that underlie the relationship. And then simultaneously, what do we do about the part of us that wants to leave? What does that want? Maybe it wants us to stand up for ourselves. Maybe it wants us to honor our self-worth, right? So what we might do is we might leave the relationship, or if we're not ready to relieve the relationship, we might find other ways to honor that part. So for example, we might engage in activities that raise our self-worth. We may lean into, again, other relationships which make us feel valued and loved and prioritized. And now we can see that these two different parts, while they look like they want very different things, some of the needs or some of the ways of meeting the needs can actually go in the same direction. And so what we really want to do when we're looking at an internal conflict is say, okay, what's underlying what this part wants? What's underlying what this part wants? And when it comes beyond the surface, when it goes to beyond the surface, can we actually find one or two things that these two parts can agree on, right? So in the case of the marriage or the divorce or the breakup, maybe you're not ready to leave the relationship, but you need distance. So the part of you that wants to leave, take a little bit of distance, right? Take some time out, take some time to think and reflect. Don't be so immersed in the relationship, in the conflict, right? And the part of you that wants to stay gets to stay because you haven't completely left the relationship. Now, there are lots of different ways you can kind of configure this, and to figure that out and what's right for you really requires that you kind of see a professional who can sit with you and have that one-on-one conversation. But this is kind of a little bit of structure that you can provide for yourself in the meantime to help you understand what's going on and try and get a sense of unanimity within you.